After the release of the manifesto, literally just 3 days to go before the first votes are cast in election cycle 2024, the Prime Minister, the leading face of the BJP, and some would say that the man who's setting the tone in this era of politics in modern India, Narendra Modi, has just given an 80-minute long interview to Smita Prakash of ANI, which of course is an agency. And you've seen the interview perhaps on every single news channel over the course of the last 1.5 hours through the course of the evening this Monday. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of things and questions have been addressed. There are going to be sets of, amongst us, people in families, in living rooms as you're watching this, people who are already convinced. It doesn't make a difference necessarily what add-ons Narendra Modi puts in, they're already convinced that he's the man for the future. There are going to be a subset of people who, no matter what he says, in whatever convincing manner, will never be convinced. But there is going to be in between people who are now deciding finally who they're going to cast their vote for, which candidate, which party, which man, which mission. And therein lies the logic of having these conversations to take on the issues and the subjects and try to address them from a point of view coming straight from the top. Now, let's pick this up step by step before I open our guest. Joining us on the broadcast, Alok Mehta, editorial director of India News, Joyita Basu, who is the editor of the Sunday Guardian, representing the Bharatiya Janata Party, is going to be Shivam Chhabra. Satya Prakash is representing the Congress. And let's have a look on your screens at what all issues that have been addressed through the course of this, and I'm going to then take them one by one. On the first issue of one nation, one poll, committed to it, says Narendra Modi, India's Prime Minister. When it comes to the issue of the G20, he goes on to add that he made a decision to work together to surprise everybody so that an agreement could be reached. When it comes to the issue of electoral bonds, Prime Minister Modi says 37% of the electoral bonds value was received by the BJP, 63% went to the opposition parties, so they should not be complaining. He goes on to add that as time passes, the scrapping of the electoral bonds is going to be something we will all regret as a country, because he says it did bring some sort of transparency into this entire matter. For those who are interested, he spoke about Elon Musk and investments in India. He spoke about the issue of what happens in North-South politics, speaking specifically that there is anger against the DMK, which he says is transferring to the BJP. When it comes to the Ram Mandir, he says it was a political weapon for the opposition, but the issue has now gone out of their hands. He goes on to add on the issue of a mission, and he says it is his aim to increase the speed and the scale of development in the country, not a minute to waste, is what PM Modi has come out and said. It's a vision, he says, that is not just his, but should belong to every person in this country. He's taken a particular pot shot at Rahul Gandhi, particularly pointing out to contradictory statements, and his comment on ek jhatke mein garibi hata denge. He said, of course, if it took 50, 60 years and you couldn't do it, how do you intend to do now? When it comes to the Enforcement Directorate, he has said that 97% of the cases of the Enforcement Directorate are against non-political people. That compared to just 36 lakh rupees recovered by the Enforcement Directorate before he came to power, 2,200 crores have now been recovered from them. And he goes on to add that all the laws that under which the Enforcement Directorate are operating were brought before the BJP. He's spoken about the reform of the Election Commission of India. He's added that in the past, Election Commission officers often became Rajya Sabha MPs or got comfortable political positions. He says that his government has corrected that. On the issue, and specifically on Rahul Gandhi, let me read this out verbatim because this is going to be politically important. Quote unquote, unfortunately, these days we see there is no commitment and responsibility towards one word. You must have seen old videos of a leader circulating, whereas every thought is contradictory. When people see this, they think that this leader was trying to hoodwink the people. Lately, I heard a politician say, ek jhatke mein garibi hata dunga. Those who got a chance to be in power for 5 to 6 decades, when they say this, the country thinks, what is this man saying? On Ukraine and the evacuation, rescue of the Indians living there, he says, the flag became my guarantee. Remember, the BJP and his manifesto came and pointed out to the 1.5 million people that they say have been evacuated from difficult circumstances over the course of the past few years. And finally, the theme is, I have big plans. Let's open this up for a setup. Shivam Chabda, I'm going to ask you the first obvious question because the Prime Minister has addressed this. Big plans. What are the big plans, sir? Because obviously, if there is something above and beyond what has already been stated, what has been campaigned on, what is mentioned in the manifesto, I'm sure people who are voters out there would like to know, what are the big plans?
See, I think the manifesto that has come, Sankalp Patra, I would correct myself. And when we say that it is Modi ki guarantee, it means that we've delivered in the past 10 years, and we are committed to deliver in coming 5 years. We've got a plan for 2047. We've got, as the manifesto states it loud and clear, that we also aim to, host the Olympics in 2036. We've got plans. I mean, we've got a detailed plan of action that we are going to execute. This shows the commitment of the Prime Minister Modi ji towards the building of new India. And I think what bigger plans we are talking about, Rishabh, here is today, the kind of schemes that have been, been working for past 10 years, and the extension of the same that has been promised in the manifesto, it is certainly going to be a big boon for this country.
Okay, but Shivanji, so let me point you in a direction. For the past 40 odd years, all right, it till living memory of the modern day politics transcending from JP into BJP, okay, the three major issues, Ram Mandir, 370 UCC, two are now completed. It's done. So I'm assuming UCC is the third big plan. Some people say one nation, one poll is a big plan for which you need a constitutional amendment. Right? There are incremental things mentioned in your Sankalp Patra / manifesto. They talk about where you've done a few lakh Lakpati Didis, you want a few crore Lakpati Didis. These are incremental changes. What is the big plan? What's the first 100 days when the Prime Minister says, I don't have a minute to waste?
Well, I think the Sankalp Patra also carries a commitment towards bringing out the UCC, Uniform Civil Code. The Bharatiya Janata Party is committed to, feels that Uniform Civil Code is certainly going to be in the favor of building of the new India. And that is a part of the BJP's manifesto. And I think, as you rightly said, we've completed a couple of promises, what we made, building up of Ram Mandir. The Ram Mandir ji is there and then, and I think in the magnificent form in Ayodhya ji.
Okay. Shivam like in any election. Now, in the end, it comes down to there are going to be a segment of the population. Remember, about just under 40% voted for you last time around. Many of them are already your supporters. They are already convinced that Narendra Modi is the man of the moment for the next 5 years. There are going to be a bunch of people, no matter what you do, you're never going to convince them. Right? They'll tell you that India is at risk, democracy at risk. There'll be Tanashai, this not. But there exists a population in this country in between who by the force of gravitas, by wisdom, by argument, by logic, by seeing a man with the plan, will be convinced. What do you say to those people?
Rishabh, as we said that what we've committed in the past, we've delivered it. The best part is the delivery. Our work speaks louder than words. I don't need to, probably clarify and what all we did. We did abrogation 370, nobody even thought of doing it. Yes, we did it. The building up of Ram Mandir, nobody ever thought it. We did it. Reaching out to people and probably providing LPG cylinders to, lakhs and lakhs, crores of household women. We've done it. We've ensured that the population that used to be below poverty line, the magnificent population that used to be below poverty line, we've ensured that it has gone beyond that. We've ensured that the kind of during the pandemic, we've ensured that every Indian was vaccinated, and vaccinated not once but twice. In fact, thrice.
Okay, all right.
So
Okay,
we've done
okay,
what
all
we
right.
said.
Okay, so no, so there are
So
achievements,
that
and
commitment
of course you wish that more could have been done,
give
which is
big
why
push.
you want 5 more years from the voters, because you are convinced that more can be done and should be done. So let me get Satyaprakash ji into this for a rebuttal. Satyaprakash ji, let me start with the obvious one, which is direct, and then we'll take a thematic angularity to this. The Prime Minister comes out and says that when your biggest face, Rahul Gandhi, speaks publicly, he speaks in contradictory and unbelievable language. That he cannot be understood, and any logical person hearing him will think what this man is saying. What do you feel? Is that a like you ne?
Who told you this? Bishop, who told you this?
No.
Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible, sir.
Who told you this?
So the Prime Minister in his interview has specifically said this, and I'm quoting out of him.
Whatever Modi tells is Vedavati. Whatever he tells is absolute truth. Is Modi God? That whatever he speaks is absolute truth. You need to understand. Mr. Modi had 10 absolute years. 10 absolute years of absolute power. 300 odd seats every time. People gave him the power. What did he say first time when he came to power? He said, I'll provide 2 crore jobs. I'll bring all the black money in. Agar my demonetization, if I don't do everything right, किसी चौरस्ता में मेरे को लटका दो. Till today we are waiting कौन सा चौरस्ता कुछ भी नहीं, because 2% GDP, as Manmohan Singh said, has taken a hit. Look at what Mr. Modi is doing today. Instead of going to people with a report card on what he has done for the last 10 years, what is he speaking? He is speaking about people who eat non-veg during certain months, who eat veg. He is talking about Hindu Muslim. He is talking about Ram Mandir. And look at what Rahul Gandhi parallelly is doing. He is talking about people of India. He is talking about farmers. He is talking about farmers who are nearly 65% of the total population, who contribute around 50 to 55% of the total GDP. He is talking about women, the backbone of every household in this country. And he is talking about empowering those women by giving, the Nyay or Nari Nyay, 1 lakh rupees every year, which yearly comes to around 8,500 rupees. He is giving MSP as a law to all the farmers. Look at what he is doing for youth of this country who are nearly
Okay, all right. So you're
55%.
convinced that Rahul Gandhi has a better plan than Narendra Modi is, and that the BJP hasn't spoken about his track record. The BJP will say that we've done nothing but speak about our track record. But okay, all right. Let me have a follow-up subjective question then.
Allow me, Rishabh, allow me to speak. It cannot be a one-to-one monkey bar. Allow me to speak. Okay. Look at what Rahul Gandhi is offering for the tribals, for the Dalits. Look at what he is offering for the OBC of this country who are nearly 50-55% of the total population. He is telling, we will go beyond the 50% cap of the reservation. He said within 10% of the EWS, we will bring all the communities, irrespective of, whether they are Dalits or OBC or minorities.
Okay.
Anyone whose income is low will be a part of EWS. Look at
all right. So let me ask a follow-up question from what has been said, then I'll come and ask you on how this will be implemented.
1 second.
Yes, Satyaji, so, no, this is a question and answer, sir. It's also not a speech, okay, about the Congress manifesto plans either. I've given you a chance to state your case. On the issue of electoral bonds, sir, the Prime Minister says
about Rahul Gandhi and Congress.
The Prime Minister says, I've asked you, you said he's not God and therefore cannot say. The rest was, of course, what the Congress plans are. On the issue of electoral bonds, the PM says 63% of the funds went to other parties in the opposition and not to the BJP.
Could I answer it?
Yes.
Okay. The point is not who got it. The point is who brought these laws. It was Mr. Narendra Modi and BJP who brought these laws. At that time, even the EC and all the political parties said, there is something humbug about it. But Mr. Narendra Modi didn't pass this law as per normal requirements. He didn't take it to the Rajya Sabha. He just passed through the Lok Sabha.
No, but Satyaji, obviously the point is about the money. If you got 63% of the money...
I'll tell you. Okay. See, here the point is, this gentleman has not got 37%. He has got more than that. We have proof for that. Still, 2 years figures have not yet come. Out of the 3,500 crores, there are reports that more than 80-90% of the funds has gone to BJP. Now what we are asking is, whatever money has gone to Congress, whatever money has gone to other parties, do they have ED with them? Do they have IT with them? Do they have CBI with them? Do they have hands on all the major contracts that are happening in this country? Second point is, even if Congress people are under some, there is some problem, put them behind bars. We are not telling do this investigation only against Modi. Do it against Modi because this is the party which has got the highest funds. And we have enough proof in public domain where it shows that the IT raid happens and within 15 days this guy goes and pays up, gives electoral bonds to BJP and the case is hashed up. There are so many instances. Mr. Dhruv Rathe and all have brought this into public domain. Even the Congress party has brought it into public domain.
But it was not too long ago, Satya Prakash ji, that the courts were calling the CBI case merit under a different government.
Something in return.
Okay, one quick question on electoral bonds and the linkage to the ED which you've drawn. The PM comes out and says that 97% of the cases of the ED are not against politicians, that the laws under which the ED operates were brought under the UPA. He also adds that under the UPA, the ED only recovered 37 lakh rupees. Since then, they've recovered 2,200 crore rupees. Why is then that an assumption that the ED is a political tool, sir?
Mr. Modi has to answer to the people of this country. You posted so many cases. You say that this money doesn't go to the exchequer; it remains somewhere until the case is solved. How many cases that the ED has put? Has Mr. Modi brought it to the logical end? Give me a dozen cases. Let us see. Give me a dozen cases which ED has given conviction to 12 people. Give me. Please name. Let us start. Give me the first one. Who is the first guy who has been put behind bars and all his assets have been confiscated? You tell me. Give me one.
I can't. There isn't any, sir. There isn't any. Even in the case of Arvind Kejriwal, the matter is under investigation, not under trial. So do you have a fair comment? No, you have a fair comment that do we prosecute and convict these people? No, the last person convicted was Lalu
10
Yadav.
donkeys years, Mr. Rishabh. 10 donkeys years is enough time for anyone to clean the system. How many cases that the IT and ED have put has Mr. Modi taken to the logical end? This decade from 2000.
So I don't know. Does that mean that the cases themselves are not bona fide, or does that mean that they haven't gone through due process? It's an open question. Okay, all right. Okay. I've taken three of the principal issues with you. Let me get the others in. Okay, let me get the others in. Alok Mehta, in the end, we can hair split on every issue, but the tone and tenor, barring something dramatic happening in the next few weeks, and we are a couple of days away from the first election. What is now your assessment? This is a different Narendra Modi going to the elections than he was in 2013, campaigning for the first time. The entire aura was different at that point of time. There was a will he, won't he. There was a conversation of whether LK Advani, Narendra Modi at that point of time. That era is gone. In 2019, it was about getting a lot of basic things done, but it wasn't the year of Ram Mandir, it wasn't the year of Article 370, that happened only in the second term. As you observe Narendra Modi giving this interview, how is this a different Narendra Modi from 10 years ago?
Rishabhji, actually he is so confident about future. Normally people think that what I am doing wrong, something wrong with me. So this type of confidence I have never seen in any Prime Minister of India. Since Indira Gandhi days, I was meeting to Indira Gandhi, Rajiv Gandhi and all. That's why I can say that what he is doing, because he connects with the masses, with the remote area, tribal area, about the women, and top Biden and Putin and Xi Jinping, or anybody in the world. That's why the communication with them and vision for future. That's why I think this is a very change. Ultimately, he groomed from 2002 or 2001 to now we are talking 23. So in 20 years almost, you see how he changed. That's why I'm saying that from chief ministership, he knows what kind of problems people are facing. Because if you serve, because I lived in villages, that's why I can tell you, very few journalists can talk about it. There is no latrine, no shauchalaya was there, no bathroom was there, no school, in one small school where I used to sleep in the school itself. There was no road. This kind of change in last 10 years, anybody can feel about it who is from ground. And that's why I think Narendra Modi is a different person, and now he's taking as a world leader. What I feel, what he is planning, maybe sometime we suffer, sometimes some schemes, because the implementation through state government, like Ayushman Bharat. Now we announced this 70 years, after 70 years, everybody will get it. But Delhi, where I am sitting, my number of family friends, they said, "Oh, we will not get it," because number of chokidar and my servant, people come at my house, they say, we are not entitled for Ayushman Bharat. These kind of change, I think, because your program always listened by top people, they should think about to change the policy that the health and education should be centralized subject. It will be a revolution for India.
Okay, so when he says, I have big plans, okay, I don't have time to waste.
Yeah.
What should we assume? I mean, some are talking points. One election is an administrative change. It can change the fabric of how we operate, but in a sense, it's an administrative change. UCC is, of course, a dramatic change, and it's been part of the manifesto. But when you hear big plans, what do you read into that?
I think like what he did in 370, in a next 6 months after June, he will do for UCC. It will also change a lot. Immediately, what first priority will be for this election, maybe for 28, 29, what he decide or how it implement it is a very complicated issue. But otherwise, I think, and for employment, the self-reliance, how people can get in program also it mentioned, 2 lakh loan, 50 lakh loan, what just now our guest was talking about it. Employment is only a government job in UP and Bihar, they insist, but all over India, young person wants how he can do himself. And what he is doing in that direction depend on the system also.
Okay, Joyita, just your gut perception, seeing this interview, having observed Narendra Modi for 15 plus years, how is this Narendra Modi representing his case and argument to the people different subjectively and objectively than it was 5 years ago or 5 years before that?
I think right now what he's totally focused on the future in terms of what exactly the government can do. Whatever the foundation has been laid, the platform that has been laid, it is going up from there. To me, frankly, more than UCC and One Nation, One Election, what is important are the policies that he's planning to take forward and take them several notches up. Because what he is talking about is 2047 as Viksit Bharat, and it is not just rhetoric. For him, it seems he is convinced about it that India will have to follow that path. And this is the time that is where he is leading to. So, he is talking about, if you look at the manifesto also, it is almost like his governance, what exactly it is laying out the road for, the roadmap for how the government will go about. There are specific policies, very target oriented schemes, the areas they are opening up in terms, and everything from semiconductors to fishery, from Lakpati Didis, the numbers that he is planning to self-help groups. It is covering a lot of things, and at the same time
the themology, Joyita, seems to be a man in a hurry. Okay, there's so much more to do, we need to get it done. But whether that actually convinces voters and all, but are we seeing a person who is fatigued? Are we seeing a person, because 10 years in power, it's a stressful job, are we seeing a person who's probably a bit nervous? Just because he's a good speaker, and can hide it better? Or are we seeing somebody who has now seen the party transform, himself transform, government transform, outlook transform at the peak of his confidence?
I do not know whether he is at the peak of his confidence, because you see there is always, when we are talking about peak, that there is always a slide down from the peak. So, I don't know whether he has achieved that peak as yet, but yes, when you are looking at him, he is supremely confident. When he is saying that yes, it is going to be 400 plus, we actually do not, but he is coming back to power, that he is already laying down the roadmap for the next 100 days of the government and all. I think he means it, he believes in it. That is what it comes across.
Has he set the tone, Joyita Basu, for this election, that this is about development, getting things done, and this is not necessarily about caste and religion and all the other matters?
He has set that tone for his next 5 years, not just the election.
Okay, is that winning? Because we see sometimes there are errors in politics, Alok Mehta. FDR, they kept electing him because after the Great Depression, he kept doing the things for the economy, kept electing him literally till he died during the last year of the Second World War. But then there are other examples. Winston Churchill, for example, was the head during the Second World War. 3 months later, he was voted out. So, the electorate can be sometimes very supportive, and sometimes it can be very bitter. And Narendra Modi analyzing this at this point of time is convincing people simply on the basis that his vision is right. But what about the old things of caste and religion and all the other matters?
Yeah, certainly this is a major factor, especially in the North India. The caste and communal issues are also there. And you are very rightly, but it depends in next 1 month how it happened. Because I remember in those days, in 80s, 90s, even communal right changed the situation. And at the time the Congress was ruling. In Bihar, even Congress people used to say there will be a communal right for and 2 people will die and then there will be election change. These kind of party were there. Now because his vision is there and what he feels, because I certainly in number of states, even the BJP ruled states, where workers, MLAs, what he used to tell in every parliamentary meeting, committee meeting, workers, go door to door. Now maybe in this election people will go more. Otherwise, complaint from Delhi to any other state you go, there are some problems because the people think, okay, Modi ji jita denge. So they are not very active. That's why I always emphasize in today's interview also mentioned, go and vote and help others.
No, don't. I think the BJP under Narendra Modi doesn't take it for granted for sure. So Satyaji, I see you. I'm going to come to you in just a second. I have a quick question with Shivam. Shivam, on the particular aspects, because it is nice to have a broad vision, to be philosophical, to push us to think differently and think beyond. I know because I try to do it here on NewsX. But sometimes, it is difficult because we're very comfortable in our identities. We're very comfortable in the parochialness of the past. We're very comfortable because we understand quota, reservation, caste census. We understand guarantee for MSP. These are the central government job guarantee. There's a familiarity in this. Why risk it in a visionary approach? Why not address all these as well? Shivam, can you hear us? Okay, I'm assuming not. We'll try to get the audio connection with them sorted. Satyaprakash, you want to make a point? Sir, take your chance to make the point, please.
See, Bishop, some of our friends were telling, that, Modi ye karega, Modi ye karega. It's like, it's a student who has got very poor marks in 10th standard, SSLC board, comes to his parent and tells at the time, when his result has come. He is not talking about what happened to his 10th result. Modi is not talking about what he has done for the last 10 years. He is talking about what he will do after he completes his, political, MA in political, inter-political science. He is least bothered about what will happen in 2047. 60-70% of India will not be alive also in 2047. What have they got to do? People,
but Satyaprakash ji, morning, evening, night, they are saying that we have given 11 crore Ujjwala and 50 crore. So how is that not a report card, sir? And compare this report card to what is the report card of Rahul Gandhi, for example?
Before Ujjwala was come, the gas price was 350 rupees in 2014. Today it is massive 1,100. Other than what they have reduced is 100 rupees or 150 rupees. This is the product of Ujjwala. Earlier, people were very happy. While you increased the bread.
Okay, all right. Cost? So, what is the report card of Rahul Gandhi, sir? Since you're talking about report cards, what is the 10-year report card of Rahul Gandhi?
The report card of Rahul Gandhi is he leads a party which for 10 years from 2004 to 2014 gave a whopping 8% GDP, 8% plus GDP growth. What is the growth that Modi is giving? He's giving a
so what was Rahul Gandhi's role in delivering the growth during the term of Manmohan Singh?
I'm talking about Rahul Gandhi's party, the Congress party. They brought more than 28 crores out of poverty in the last 10 years. But what has Modi done? Today, look at unemployment. 45-year highest unemployment is there. Modi was supposed to deliver 2 crore jobs per year. Instead of delivering 20 crore jobs today, we have the worst unemployment.
Okay, many people would argue that Rahul Gandhi's report card has only been bad showing for the Congress party, and that's not happy things either.
Rahul Gandhi's report card will start from 2024.
Okay, it's not started yet. It will start. Okay, it will start. Okay. Now let me get Shivam Chhabra quickly, and I'm short of time. Okay, Shivam, you couldn't hear us earlier. My question was that you're trying to talk about development. You're saying new secularism. You're saying we need to move, we have to talk about development in terms of 4 new castes instead of thinking old ways. But there is a familiarity in the old ways for a lot of people. They understand OBC, SC, ST quota. They understand minority quota. They understand, distribution of wealth. There are people who are comfortable in the parochial ways of the past. Why have you thought that this is the new vision for us?
Rishabh, we need not worry about the political class that always thinks about the radicalist, or maybe I would say the orthodox way of thinking how the India was happening. The Prime Minister has already given his plan of action, and I think we are going to concentrate on the people who are poor, people who are Annadata, as the Gyan says, I mean, the Garibi, then the youth, the Annadata, and the Nari Shakti. These are focus areas. And I think the Prime Minister has always vowed for this stand and said that ये जो जाते हैं, ये कहीं ना कहीं किसी भी हिंदुस्तान की किसी जाति सिस्टम से भी ऊपर उठ करके है. तो कहीं ना कहीं I would say that Satya Prakash ji, while he was saying, and you were asking a very question to him, that what was the Rahul Gandhi's report card for past 10 years, I think his report cards always say that he was absent for almost 50% of the time. Either he was partying in to the best and favorite destination he was doing, or either he was maybe busy having a Chinese soup while the Doklam was happening in this country.
Okay.
So
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. But was he in government? No, he wasn't. Okay, he was a member of parliament. Okay, all right. Okay, I'm out of time. Quick interjection. Alok Mehta, 30 seconds.
I wanted to, because our guest was talking about employment. One point, Rishabh, because you can also do this, some study. A plumber, an electrician, or a normal tutor in school for colleges, how much they are earning? In Delhi, average 500 rupees per house, and then he go to 2,000 per visit.
Yes.
Almost say, he himself told me, one electrician.
That's what they're charging.
So it's 2,000 rupees a day average. If you get 40 to 50,000, that's why he was not going to Bihar, from Muzaffarpur area. I can give the details also. So these kind of people. Today morning I called in Bangalore, my daughter. She told me for tuition, 18,000 rupees for 10 classes for 1 month. If you say 10 students are there, he is getting 2 lakh rupees and no tax for these people. They get cash payment. This is the employment.
Okay,
if they are well read.
All right. Speaking of taxation, the PM has also come and said the number of registered voters, people filing the tax return has doubled. Okay, Joyita, quickly before I end this, in terms of a very personal connect, have we just seen a Narendra Modi over 80 minutes answering the tough questions? Have we seen them evading it? Have we seen him defensive, or have we seen him calm, confident and clear?
Well, I don't think Mr. Modi ever evades any question. Whenever it's a different matter that he has not done press conferences and all, but whenever he has been asked a question, he has always replied. Whether he has, so I don't think he was evading any questions. And the thing is, whether the journalist was asking tough questions or not, I do not want to comment.
Well, the issues, electoral bonds, ED, roughly Smita covered most of the issues that you would have wanted to ask at this point of time from the opposition point of view.
Yes, she did. She did, and the thing is that he answered everything. Whatever had to be answered, he has answered. It's a different matter. The opposition will not take they will say,
Obviously.
So it's all politics. After all, it's all politics.
Well, in the end, it doesn't matter what we feel and think, okay? You heard the interview. We will recast it on NewsX during the course of the evening. You can hear for yourself and make a judgment call for yourself. But the judgment call resides on this. Bunch of people already convinced that he's the man of the moment. This is the Modi era in politics. Bunch of people say this is dangerous. And there's a whole lot of people in the middle who want to be convinced by reason and logic. Have you heard a report card that makes you go, actually, that when I get into the Vande Bharat train, when I get onto the highway, wow, India is changing? Do you credit Narendra Modi in part for that change? Do you think he's been a good coach and captain? And given another 5 years, will he be even more energetic and more unshackled? That's a choice you get to make. I thank Satya Prakash, Shivam Chabra, and my guests in studio, Alok ji and Joyita.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.